It was just very present. I mean, you didn't see other art on the wall. You didn't see Matisse things or Picasso's or anything, Keens, and there's just something about sort of fascinating as a child seeing it hanging in people's living rooms. My grandmother had, dentist's office, sitting in the waiting room, and I always was fascinated, like, why do you have a picture of a weird child on your wall? You know what I mean? It's like, so that's what fascinated me about the work itself is quite, strange. These sad children, and somewhat mysterious, but slightly sinister, so like a child from a horror village of the damned or something, a child out of a horror movie, you know, and so that and the polarization of people's opinion. Some people obviously loved it, had it hanging in their living room, and some people thought it was the downfall of civilization. So that kind of response I found quite interesting, even at the time. Well, I love actors with great eyes, like Kristen Ritter. She's got great eyes. I mean, people like Johnny or Winona. Eva Green, people that because Michael Keaton has I love because it's like it's a movie, so I love what actors can convey without saying anything. Like I do go for these people that could be silent movie actors, and that's what I loved about Amy. Her performance, I got so much out of her just staring and looking, but without doing anything, you just feel this internal turmoil going on, and the conflict and the heaviness, and then when she kind of finds her voice, you see her like without doing anything, and I find that's the most amazing type of acting you can achieve. I mean, it starts with, again, kind of the foundation of being around at that time, and it having, sticking in your memory like a weird dream, So it started with that, the images. But then it sort of, then you start to think about, well, why was it so popular at that time? And what was, because I grew up, again, in that era, and it was that sort of the tail end of that idea of the American dream, And so here you have this dysfunctional couple creating these weird mutant children, which sort of represented the kind of the movement from the positive to the sort of the death of that kind of thing and moving into another era. And so I think on a subconscious level, I think that's why maybe it had such an impact on people. Because I think if I had asked somebody, like, why do you have that picture of a crying child on your wall, I would be surprised if I got a deep answer. I would bet they wouldn't even know. Well, I like it or whatever. But it has a deeper. Even the people that hate the paintings, there is a certain power to it. I mean, that quote from Warhol about if it were so bad, why would so many people like it? There's an interesting thought there. It sort of started with the images, the paintings, and the part of what the thing that gives it the vibe is the weird kind of lurid colors, the slightly off kind of kilter nature of it. This almost kind of bright yet kind of slightly sickly kind of, which is kind of contradictory. But in some of those films in the '60s, I strangely used. Some of the films of the Italian director Mario Bava as an inspiration, because he would use colors in a very unusual way, which again sort of likened it to the paintings themselves. So we just tried to set it in the world where these paintings exist. Walter's a quite complicated character. He's charming. Great salesman, expansive personality, delusional, can be a bully, be quite frightening, and yet also quite tragic. And that's a lot of elements to put into character. But at the same time, that's what makes up human beings. So he understands that, and he doesn't categorize things. I think he looks at it and he tries to just sort of take all the elements of what that character is and just make him a human being, because he is, I think Walter was a sort of larger than life character in a sense, but he was a real character. And I think both the actors, Christoph and Amy, are looking to find the truth in whatever they do, and that's why they're so good.